Brands Hatch is all set to go with the second round of the High Q British Touring Car Championship. Can Matt Neal and Vauxhall maintain the winning momentum of round one? Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards are the commentators once again.
Thank you very much, Steve. And the cars are just moving away on their first of 2 green flag laps here around the Indy circuit. And although the sun's gone behind a cloud just for a moment, it's still a beautiful afternoon as we prepare for this second race of the touring cars for today. Let's take a look at how they line up for this one then. It's Matt Neal, winner earlier on today, who lines up on pole once again with Fabrizio Giovanardi alongside, looking for a better start this time. 2 BMWs behind. They've swapped sides though. Colin Turkington on the inside, Rob Collard on the outside. All of them carrying ballast, remember now. Maximum ballast on Matt Neal's car as the pole winner. Next up, it's Adam Jones and Jason Plato. So let's see how Jason gets on, starting from 6th place this time. Stephen Jelly lines up behind, the man he was dicing with so hard in the first race, and Harry Volkard in the other Chevrolet Lacetti in this race, run by Tempest Sport. Then we get back to Dan Eves, the Cartridge World Seat Leon. He's got Martin Bell alongside, delighted to score a point earlier today. Then we've got Tom Chilton in the Ford Focus. He starts in 11th place with Martin Johnson in the Boulevard Team Racing Astra Coupe alongside. Alan Morrison is next up in the second of the Ford Focuses, and he's got young Liam McMillan starting alongside him in the Seat Toledo. Then we go back to some who had problems in that first race, Dave Pinkney with Andrew Jordan next door to him. They lost drive in that car, if you remember, when he was running in 2nd place, so hoping for him to fight through the field. And also watch out just behind for Gordon Shedden. He's likely to be overtaking cars early on. Nick Leeson just getting used to that BMW diesel at the moment. But behind them we've got Johnny Adam, who lines up 19th on the grid. Another one to watch for. He could be coming through the ranks quite quickly. John George starts at the back. So that's the lineup, and that's how we'll be seeing them get underway, Tim.
Yeah, an exciting racing prospect, I think. Certainly, having seen how equal the cars were in the first race, you really would expect the success ballast to start kicking in now, and Matt Neal and Giovanardi with maximum ballast will struggle.
Let's see if we can get a quick word with Tom Chilton in the Ford Focus, starting 11th. This is Ben in the commentary box. Tom, how are you looking forward to this second race, only a second ever race in the Ford Focus?
Yeah, well, we did a good start in the last race. We went from 16th to 11th. As you can see, we're very down on straight line speed at the moment. It's very hard because we've only had about 3 weeks to develop, to set up the car, whereas everyone else had about 3 years. So we are all trying very hard, mate.
Yeah, we know you are. Good luck with this one, Tom. And as I say, he'll be starting in 11th place, Tim.
Yep, start of a long journey for Arena and Ford, but a good one, I hope. And I think we've got to watch Plato here, because he's the first car carrying 0 ballast. They've made changes to the car. He could see a much improved performance from Jason in this race.
Yes, indeed. So 45 kilos of ballast on Matt Neal's car, 36 kilos of ballast. It's lead that they put into a special box in the inside the cockpit. 27 kilos for Colin Turkington. As you say, the first car on the grid without ballast is that of Jason Plato, starting in 6th place. But remember, you've got those fast starting BMWs on the 2nd row once again, and it did seem as though later in the first race that the BMW was coming on strong. Then we had a safety car that sort of helped the Vauxhalls out. Let's see what happens in this one. Last few cars are still to move into position, and as we mentioned, particularly got to watch out for the likes of Andrew Jordan, Gordon Shedden and Johnny Adam, who are starting right towards the very back of the grid, and we'll see how many places they can make up throughout the course of this 24-lap race. So getting ready then for the second British touring car race of the day to get underway. The engine revs again begin to build. Who's going to get off the line best of all this time? Lights out, away we go, and again the BMWs are firing along, and Matt Neal on the grass. Turkington goes ahead of Collard. Both get past Giovanardi and Neal. Giovanardi up into 3rd, and Matt Neal, he was on the grass trying to get that thing going.
Yeah, just could not get it going. Actually, he spun the wheels and slid down towards the pit wall. He's under threat from Jelly now, but closes the door. But Collard's run wide onto the dirty part of the track. He's got at least one place here.
Yeah, he's down to 2nd, maybe even 3rd if Giovanardi can do anything. Giovanardi's got Jelly down the inside. Clever stuff from Stephen Jelly. Took full advantage there. I'll tell you what, Stephen Jelly into his 2nd season of touring car racing, really beginning to put into practice what he learned last year. Had a great dice with Jason Plato. You saw the 2 Vauxhalls there, had a little touch, didn't they, Tim?
They did, and they backed away from each other. Giovanardi gave Neal room as they turned into Surtees, which are just as well.
So the Vauxhall's not getting away particularly well once again. Jason Plato in that little group just behind the blue Chevrolet there, but leading it is Colin Turkington. Collard in second, Stephen Jelly in third place, Giovanardi's in fourth, then it's Matt Neal, then it's Adam Jones in the first of the yellow and green cartridge world cars, and they're sandwiching Jason Plato. There's Plato in the blue Chevrolet, and he's under attack from the second cartridge car of Dan Eves, but he couldn't come through there.
No, Dan tried very hard, but Plato's a wily carriage. He just a good defensive line into Druids, into Paddock and then Druids, and that held him off.
So good battle going on up front between the two BMWs, but let's take a look back at the start.
Watch Matt Neal, he's drifting towards the wall with wheel spin, and the two BMWs straight through the gap. I mean, Giovanardi could have closed that gap up a little bit, but he was getting past as well.
Well, it was all pretty frantic stuff. This was the view on board Colin Turkington's car as he just slotted through. And you could see there the Vauxhall almost in the pit wall.
Yeah, two black lines on the road indicating the wheel spin that Matt Neal suffered from.
Back with the leaders then, it's Colin Turkington leading from Rob Collard in second. The two BMWs still very close with Stephen Jelly, another BMW running third, then the first of the Vauxhalls, that is Fabrizio Giovanardi. Then it's Matt Neal, Adam Jones in sixth place, Jason Plato in seventh, Dan Eves in eighth, Harry Volkard in ninth place, and Tom Chilton in the Focus looking for their first point. Well, he's up in 10th place at the moment, and remember, we don't know how many cars will be reversed on the grid for the third race of the day, but it could be as many as 10, and that will be what Tom Chilton hopes for right now. Still up front though, Turkington is in control.
Yeah, with the two Vauxhalls that are up there, Neal and Giovanardi ballasted, you've got to say that one of these three BMWs should be able to get out and win the race. And obviously the lightest amongst them is actually Rob Collard, so he's got a really good chance. Dave
Pinkney just bustling his way past Martin Bell there as they came out of clearways. They were side by side, they're still pretty much there, and Andrew Jordan's trying to get up the inside, and here is Stephen Jelly trying to take second from Rob Collard up at Druids, but not quite alongside enough to take the place, and so Stephen Jelly wants to join in with his teammate up front, and this is certainly one of the best weekends we've seen from Stephen Jelly. Really top performance. He took pole position here at the end of last season, and it just going back to races now where he's already competed in that first season seems to be making all the difference. Wonderful dice with Plato earlier. Now he's really challenging for second, but right behind him he's got to be careful because it's the reigning double champion Fabrizio Giovanardi.
Yeah, it looks like Collard's just holding him up a little bit. In fact, Jelly is the lightest of these three BMWs. He doesn't have any success ballast on, so he needs to try and get past if possible to avoid an onslaught from the Vauxhalls.
Absolutely right. So yes, he can take advantage of that lack of ballast. Maybe the man in third place and again on the attack as they come up the hill. But Rob Collard in the Airways car just shuts the door in plenty of time, and there's no chance for Stephen Jelly to sneak past. Meanwhile, the two Vauxhalls getting closer and closer. It's Giovanardi, and we're riding on board with Fabrizio Giovanardi. Those three BMWs ahead, but the Vauxhall's now really beginning to pick up the pace. He's got Matt Neal right behind him as we come through Surtees.
This is a great corner, this left-hander. You really carry the speed there, but then the hard part is braking here whilst you're turning as well. It really unsettles the car. Variety of different lines there, and Giovanardi and Matt Neal both coming in very tight.
Yeah, not even running it fully out to the exit there as Giovanardi, but just dropped away a fraction. Jelly is the man on the attack here once again, looking at getting past Rob Collard in the blue and white car, but no way through there. The two Vauxhalls chasing, and then a bit of a gap developing. It's Adam Jones and Jason Plato who are battling over sixth place as Jones just gets in front of the Chevrolet. Plato getting a little more aggressive now in his attempts to get past, and Danny's right behind him as well. Then there's a gap back to Gordon Shedden, who's moved up a couple more places, having started towards the back. So Gordon Shedden's having a good recovery.
Yeah, he's actually flying. He's up to 10th place now, as you say, from the back, and the other one, Johnny Adam, in the other Airways car, he's up to 14th from the back.
Back with the lead group, Turkington's got a little bit of an advantage. He can relax a touch, but Collard cannot afford to relax at all in second place. He's got that second Team RAC car all over his boot lid as they head down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Any chance to outbrake him? Not really. Then through the right-hander, down the hill, and Turkington still with the edge. They all run over that little extra bit of tarmac, but you don't want to go any wider than that, otherwise you're straight in the gravel.
But trust me, these guys can't relax for one moment. It doesn't matter where you are. It's a 24-lap race, and every one of these laps is driven at full qualifying pace.
Yeah, indeed, and Stephen Jelly still the one who's trying to make the move here, but he's got to watch out. Two Vauxhalls behind, on board with Giovanardi through the left-hander at Surtees. Use the curb, bounce over that curb, then get the braking, try and squeeze up the inside. He's going to have a go. He's having a go, and he's done it. He's got past Stephen Jelly on the inside, but now can he hold him? because Jelly's got a good run on the exit. Oh, little touch. Jelly gets squeezed out wide. Well, you know, Giovanardi was on his line, wasn't he?
Yeah, Giovanardi just let the car run out wide, which is his right to do, and Jelly nearly held it, but got put on the dirt.
Yeah, he's playing with the big boys there, and he got a taste of some double championship winning medicine. Let's just take a look at it again.
Oh, how close was the back of Giovanardi to Jelly's car. The move was telegraphed through the left-hander at Surtees, with Giovanardi taking that tight line to straighten up the braking zone. And then here he just, well, it's nearly cost Giovanardi, actually. You don't want to lean across the front of a car in a front-wheel drive car, and it nearly cost him.
So he's up to third place, the man who's looking for not only his third British touring car title this year, he's looking for his 10th touring car title overall. He's won touring car titles in Spain, in Italy, the European Championship as well. 2 wins now in the British Championship. If he wins the series this year, it'll be 10. That's amazing.
It is amazing, and what a record. Jelly's really dropped a lot of ground with that dirty, grassy moment. Of course, he would have got a lot of dirt on his tyres. Look at Plato in this battle here. They're diving all over the road. The first race it was Stephen Jelly. This race he's battling tooth and nail with Adam Jones. Great stuff, but Shedden's right up behind him. Clearly has a quicker car. Yeah, Gordon Shedden's in the black car with the day glow flashes. Very recognisable. The Team Dynamics Honda Civic. And he's come up well from the back of the grid. So he's now sitting in 8th position. Little lock up there from Plato. Still getting used to this new car as Adam Jones runs a touch wide out of Graham Hill Bend in the Cartridge World Seat. Then it's Plato in the, as it is, unsponsored Chevrolet Lassetti at the moment. Just a one event deal, but there's people talking already. But here's Shedden with a chance. Shedden now, really, Plato was saying he's struggling at clearways, and there's an example. Yeah, he's been having to take a tight line in, but Shedden was, he was so slow on the brakes there that Shedden was able to get, but look how quick that car is on the straight. Pulled actually a car length in front, and Shedden had to outbrake him into paddock. Bit of damage to the back of Plato's car now, so he's got a bit of bumper hanging in the wind. But he was saying, oh, and it's tight. He's made a little tap there, and he's through. He's gone through. Little tap on the bumper, and he's straight past. Well, he probably felt that Shedden pushed past him, so he was going to push back past, and they just allowed the car to run into back of Shedden gently enough to push him wide. Look at that, not even a mark on the front of the car. He's a professional, isn't he? He could even argue that Shedden just braked too late, and it wasn't me, Gov. Oh, Shedden's got the inside. Plato spins, half spins, gets it back on. That was a bit more contact, and it's all getting a bit more aggressive between Shedden and Plato, and it's Shedden has won the battle now, and Plato's lost a whole group of places as they come across the line. I think he's out of the top 10. Yeah, he's down to 12th. Yeah, but I mean, this is Shedden trying to give back to Plato a little bit of what happened to him, but he's not done it that subtly, really. That's not the most subtle pass I've seen. Look at Andrew Jordan in the background. He's got inside of Harry Volkard, and he's gained some places there. That's right, he has. Andrew Jordan from the back come up to 10th place, so he's into the points and into a possible reverse grid position. In fact, he's about to attack Dan Eves for 8th place as well, so that's a good one to watch. But Collard here still holding on to second from Giovanardi. Now, what's Giovanardi going to throw at Rob Collard, I wonder, over the next few laps? We've only just got to half distance. Plenty of time to go. It depends now on how the tyres are holding up and whether the BMWs are in better shape or perhaps the Vauxhall. Yeah, they're all doing identical times, 49.9 each one of them, but of course that heavy weight that they've got in the Vauxhall with Giovanardi, it works the tyres much harder, so the second third of the race is where he'll start to struggle, although we know how brilliant he is at conserving his tyres over the race distance. That's right, because he put in those quick laps towards the end of race 1, didn't he? But the extra ballast will make a difference. 36 kilos on his, more ballast on Matt Neal's car, and Matt Neal is behind Giovanardi as we come up to clearways once again, and still not close enough to quite challenge. Turkeyton is our race leader, and Harry Volkard's just recovering from a spin there, so he's lost some places as a result of that, and now he's going to try and not lose any more if possible. Let's see if we can spot what's happened here. You've got Volkard just ahead of Plato in that shot. Oh, and he just put a wheel over the edge, turning into Graham Hill Bend. Yeah, that's very easy to do that because your eye line is to the left-hand side. You're looking to pick up the apex out the left-hand side of the car, and it's very easy to just inadvertently drop a wheel on the grass as you come down that hill. Look how close everybody does get, but it's easily done. Yeah, indeed. Plato up to 11th now, so just outside the point still as we ride on board with Fabrizio Giovanardi. He's
Still in third place, still chasing these two fast-starting BMWs, and now we're getting that a little bit closer again. He wasn't quite close enough to dive up the inside, but Collard was a touch wide than I might have expected there, and he's going to have to be careful if he does that again.
Well, the Vauxhall just takes chunks out of the BMW on the brakes. You can see it everywhere. He loses a little bit on the straight because he's got the weight in the car and can't come off the corner as well. But honestly, on the brakes, Giovanardi just closes heaps. He'll do it the same again here going up to Druids.
Yeah, let's watch. It just depends whether Collard leaves him any space, but he doesn't, and he's not close enough this time. About 50 miles an hour through the slowest corner at Druids, down the hill up to about 85 before they're back on the brakes into Graham Hill Bend. This is where we saw that mistake from Harry Volkard. These guys use a bit of curve on the exit, but otherwise keep it neat.
Yeah, using all the curve that they can. Drivers have different lines through here. Giovanardi's quite neat through there, but then up the inside, very tight, stops the car, holds it on the apex, then drives it off on a nice tight line. So he's shortening the actual lap distance that he's doing.
So it's tight stuff between these top three. Turkington's really not been able to make as much of a break as he would have liked. The gap's still only 0.5 of a second between himself and Collard there in second place. Both independent teams up front, Team RAC and Airways BMW, then the manufacturer team that is Vauxhall, of course. Stephen Jelly still in 5th place. Adam Jones in the yellow and green Seat is still in 6th. Then it's Gordon Shedden in 7th, Dan Eves in 8th. And then Andrew Jordan up to 9th. David Pinkney is in 10th. Plato still holding on to 11th position. They're coming up. They'll be coming up fairly soon to lap the diesel BMW 120D of Nick Leeson.
Yeah, well, just to give you an idea of what the success ballast should do to a car, usually for every 10 kilos of success ballast, that should cost you 1/10 of a second. So Giovanardi theoretically should be at least 3.5 tenths slower than he was. Matt Neal 4.5 tenths, but there's no evidence of it.
This is Gordon Shedden on the inside, attacking Adam Jones a moment ago, and he went through on the inside there at the hairpin. So that puts Shedden into 6th place now, and coming from the back, that's a good effort indeed from the Scot. So flying along, and the next one on his list will be Stephen Jelly, but it's a bit of a gap to be made up there as we return to our race leaders. Still Turkington just about from Rob Collard, but over the last lap or so, Collard's managed to close that gap, I would say. The BMW 120 diesel is getting out of the way of Turkington and Collard. It might cost Giovanardi a bit of time through Surtees. Yeah, I might have just cost him an extra length or so. Matt Neal also going past in the background, but actually they've all got through cleanly. But look, the top two have definitely made a break from Giovanardi.
Yeah, unfortunately, Leeson was trying to get out of the way, but he arrived at Surtees and had to go round the corner just as Giovanardi was about to turn in. So the first two got through, Giovanardi got held up.
So still no change up front. Colin Turkington looking for a victory, but Johnny Adam, Rob Collard's teammate, now right behind Jason Plato here as they come across the line, and they're both behind David Pinkney. Jonathan Adam trying to go to the outside. He's sitting in 12th place at the moment. Jason Plato holding it tight to the inside, and both of them trying to get past the Team Dynamics car of Dave Pinkney.
Yeah, well, Johnny Adam, he's looking to get a position inside that top 10, and he needs to get both these cars to do that, and then just hope he can get on the front row for the last race.
Yeah, but remember, it's a lottery as to how many cars are reversed. 10 is the maximum that might be reversed on the grid. It might be as few as 6, so you've got to be in the top 10 to even have a chance, and that's what these guys are trying to do at the moment. Back on board with Johnny Adam in his first ever meeting as a British touring car driver, but he's had so much success in the support championships. Plato holding a tight line there out of clearways as he tries to line up Pinkney, and Jonathan Adam will be quicker, but where does he go?
Well, I mean, Plato's driving that very defensive line. It's always difficult when you're in the middle because Plato's actually attacking Pinkney as well. Bit of a slide there. But he closed the door very quickly. But even driving defensively, he's still able to stay on the back of David Pinkney. But something's got to give with these three.
Yeah, it's going to be tight to the end here. Pinkney a little bit of breathing space as a result of that mistake by Plato in the middle of Paddock Hill Bend, but he'll soon be back onto the rear bumper of Dave Pinkney. Very experienced driver that he is, of course. Took a year out of British touring cars last year. He was racing an Alfa Romeo a couple of years ago. He's raced all sorts of touring cars over the years, and at the moment he'll be delighted to be keeping Plato behind. He was a bit deep into clearways.
Bit of a gap here, bit of an opportunity.
Looks like Johnny Adams the one who's going to take advantage because he's now got the inside, and unless Plato can really pick up some speed down the straight here. He's not going to manage it, so that means that Jonathan Adam has moved up into 11th.
Yeah, he has, and in front of him, Andrew Jordan's moved up to 7th, and don't forget, he started right at the back. Oh, that was Giovanardi running wide. Matt Neal goes through.
Yeah, so Giovanardi's just thrown 3rd place away. Very rare to see him make a mistake like that, but Matt Neal's now taken 3rd, and the top two are still very, very close together here. The Team RAC entry of Colin Turkington, he's won here in the past, but of course, remember, Rob Collard, the team, Airways BMW, the motor-based team, are yet to win a British touring car race. I wonder how exciting this feels. They had a brilliant double podium here at France at the end of last season, and Giovanardi's in, he's got a puncture. That's why he went off.
Yeah, left front. Now, that could have been from the little contact he had earlier in the race. It's not uncommon to cause a failure in the sidewall with a little bit of contact that later goes.
Well, that's pretty shattering for Fabrizio Giovanardi. He has an incredible finishing record over the last couple of years in British touring cars, although saying that, he didn't have a great time here in the final round last year. But into the pits, and that's going to really hurt, and he won't be up for the reverse grid. He's going to be fighting his way through in the final race of the day. But we're still with Colin Turkington, our race leader, and he's still got massive pressure on him from Rob Collard right behind. Seems to be very little to choose between the two cars, as you would expect.
Yeah, as you'd expect, they're both running on Öhlins dampers. They're both BMW kit cars, effectively, from the factory. Giovanardi, as quick a change as you could get the 888 crew, but he's going to be well down the order on this short lap.
Yeah, he is. That's the trouble here. 1.2 mile Indy circuit. It's easy to lose a huge amount of time. He gets back onto the circuit again, and Giovanardi is going to just try as hard as he can, maybe try and get fastest lap in the closing stages of the race, but that's going to be tough as well. It's still Turkington versus Collard up front, Matt Neal in 3rd place. It means that Stephen Jelly is now in 4th. Gordon Shedden, from the back of the grid pretty much, has come up to 5th place, and that's one of the drives of the race.
Yeah, with Andrew Jordan right behind him also from the back.
Yeah, so very, very impressive from both those guys who started on the 9th row of the grid. And in fact, they're having a bit of a dice at the moment. I noticed that Shedden and Andrew Jordan are pretty close together on track as we concentrate still on this lead battle heading up towards Paddock Hill Bend. Colin Turkington just keeping it smooth at the moment. And there you see Collard just closes a little bit on the apex of the corner itself, but Turkington takes the defensive line. Now, remember, in the first race, Turkington did give Collard just a little bit of a nudge into the hairpin, which was enough for Colin to take the lead. I wonder if Rob Collard might not think about returning the favour in this one.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, Collard is now quicker. He can sniff that elusive first victory for Motorbase and the first victory in British touring cars for Airwaves as a new sponsor. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, he's run a bit wide there, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Rob really be a bit physical here. He's already had a podium, he's already achieved that goal. He wants a win.
Absolutely does, and Rob Collard is a hard racer. He comes from the world of oval racing, short oval racing. Hot rods, stock cars, that's where he started his racing career. So he knows what it is to deal with a bit of contact, if necessary. Let's see what happens here. Up to the hairpin they come once again. It's a little bit of a nudge. Here we go. He's going for it down the inside. Then Rob door handles. And is he through or not? He pushes him wide. He's back on again, and Collard through. Collard takes the lead.
Well, it was always coming. Look at the team. That's little Timmy jumping up and down. He absolutely loves it. Dave Bartram will have to be on a pacemaker.
Still a lap and a half to go, so Turkington might yet return the favour as they come up towards Clearways. This is one of the favourite overtaking spots, but Turkington doesn't do anything for the moment. He's going to wait and see if there's another chance perhaps into the hairpin on this final lap that's coming up. They'll go across the line. It's just one lap to go, the second race of the day. Rob Collard looking for an historic first victory for the team and for the new sponsor, but can he hold on? It's coming up to the key area of the circuit, because this is where Turkington makes a mistake, and that's lost him any ground.
That's going to do it for Rob Collard and for Airways BMW. A fantastic achievement. No one deserves it more. I knew one of the BMWs was going to win this race, and Rob Collard's going to bring it home. Brilliant.
It looks like he has got it sorted now. Fantastic performance from Rob Collard. Yes, he's been aggressive, but he will feel, after what happened in the first race, he will feel fully justified for that, and we'll wait to see whether any action's taken, but he did it pretty smoothly. And you have to say, Rob Collard deserves a great result, and he's going to get one. It's the first ever win for the local Rutan-based motor-based team. It's the first win for Airwaves BMW in the British Touring Car Championship. Second across the line, Team RAC, Colin Turkington, and it's going to be third place for Matt Neal, fourth, I think, for Stephen Jelly, fifth for Andrew Jordan. Andrew Jordan, I think, has beaten Gordon Shedden. Yes, so Andrew Jordan getting a fine result there. And just watching Plato versus Volkard, the two Chevrolet Lassettis absolutely together around this final lap. And 10th place goes to Plato. 10th place to Jason Plato, so he's still in with a chance on the reverse grid. But what about this team? For Team Airwaves BMW, the Motorbase team, this is their first victory in British touring cars, and they're a wonderful team, great group, a great family team. It is Dave Bartram who looks after it, runs this team. This will mean so much to him, so much to all the crew, and for Rob Collard to come back and take victory again. It was Brands Hatch where he took his last win when he was driving for MG in 2005. But this was the moment as Rob crossed the line and they have achieved what they'd set out to achieve. And there, in the middle with the headset on, Ollie Collins, who switched camps. He was Team Halford through all their successful time. He was team manager. And now Ollie is at Airwaves BMW at Motorbase, and he can celebrate a victory at his first event with the team, so that really is something special as well. Really good stuff, and a brilliant story for everyone concerned. Let's just check through the results then. It was Rob Collard taking the win from Colin Turkington, with Matt Neal top Vauxhall in third place, Stephen Jelly a fine fourth, that's his best ever finish in touring cars, and Andrew Jordan and Gordon Shedden fifth and sixth from the back of the grid. Adam Jones and Dan Eves, the two Cartridge World teammates, finished next up, with Jonathan Adam from the back in ninth place, Jason Plato finishing in 10th and picking up a point in the Chevrolet Lassetti. Harry Volkard just behind him, then Martin Bell. David Pickney was 13th. Tom Chilton and Alan Morrison and the two Fords were 14th and 15th. And Giovanardi with that puncher, he did go back out, but still finished down in 16th place ahead of Nick Leeson and ours. Cars that didn't finish, like John George and Liam McMillan.
Well, we saw how delighted Matt Neal was when he won the opening race of the day. Rob Collard is going to be absolutely delighted with that victory, the maiden victory for the new Airwaves team. And Rob's first duty is to congratulate and hug those team members, and hopefully they'll bring him back to us in just a moment. Rob, come and have a quick word. And it wasn't just the victory, it was the manner in which he forced his way past Colin Turkington. And Rob, try to sum up for us exactly how important that victory is for this team, what it means to the boys behind you.
This is so important for myself, for the team, for the sponsors. BMW Airwave, they just really, really needed this. We felt we got cheated in race one. And you know, the team have worked so hard over the winter to deliver a car that's in this sort of form, and just a credit to Airways BMW, just love them to bits.
You say you felt you got cheated in race one. Was a little bit of payback for Colin Turkington there?
I wouldn't say payback, you know, nobody holds a grudge, but you know, we're all out here to win, and win we have to do, and that's what Colin tried to do in race one, and I've made sure we've done in race two.
Well, it's a kind of aggression that typifies this great championship. At what point in the race did you feel that you had the measure of him?
As soon as we got away from Giovanardi, I knew then I could start playing with Colin, because at that point I was just letting Colin go and trying to build a lead. And we come across a back marker at Kidney, which Colin and myself just about managed to get by, and it held Giovanardi up. I think it was Giovanardi anyway, it was a Vauxhall. And when that went, I thought, right, 5 laps to go. I want this win really bad. I want it for the team.
How much did it surprise you, both in race one and race two, how you buried those Vauxhalls off the start line?
Oh, we better not talk about that. I just think, you know, the Airways BMW, it's always known for getting off the line good. You know, I'm a very quick starter, and I just don't think the Vauxhalls made particularly good ones, if I'm honest. You know, race one, I saw Matt just light the tyres up and he just sat there wheel spinning. You know, he made a bad one, we made a good one, and I think that's really what it's all about.
Dave Bartram is there behind you. How important for this man as well?
Oh, yeah, and he's a saviour for me. Yeah, he's given me a chance and put a lot of faith in me when a lot of people wrote me off a couple of years ago, and I'm just very pleased I can bring the team their first overall win and independence win and kick the championship off in the way we want to continue.
Well, Dave is going to join us in a second to help us do the draw for the sort of reverse grid for race 3. What are your thoughts for the third race?
I don't know really. I just take it as it comes to you with motor racing. You can't have too many expectations, you know, otherwise you're disappointed. So I always sort of realist, and if I outperform that, then I'm very happy.
Rob, well done. Great victory. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the celebrations, and we'll take a break. We'll be back with live coverage of the Porsche Carrera Cup race in just a few minutes, but as Dave Bartram gets a soaking, he'll dry off to help us with that draw for the random grid for race 3. And that's all coming up in a couple of minutes' time. Second round of the HiQ British Touring Car Championship, and this time it's a BMW 1-2. They were amazing off the start line, but Vauxhall fought back through defending champion Fabrizio Giovanardi. He was to later drop out of the race, and then winning it in quite sensational fashion, Rob Collard muscling his way past Colin Turkington for a first win for the Motorbase team that, as we saw a few minutes ago, clearly means so much. We'll hear from team boss Dave Bartram very shortly, but first of all, Louise has got some further reaction.
Well, Colin, congratulations, another podium finish, but I guess when you've been leading a race for as long as you were that time, it's a bit annoying to be finishing in second place.
Yeah, it is. You know, being in the lead is the toughest place to be. You know, you're setting the pace for everybody else, and you know, we were coming very well. Obviously, have some ballast on the car from race 1, so I was pleased with the pace, but to lose it 2 laps from the end is a hard one to swallow, but you know, you can't win them all.
You were under pressure, you know, pretty much throughout though, weren't you?
Yeah, I couldn't shake him off. You know, I was sort of confident that I could because of our race pace in race 1, but he closed towards the end, and you know, it's a big pressure situation, and I did all I could, but you know, it's good to get more points in the bag, and you know, another second position's great.
Well done. Well, let's grab a word with third place finisher Matt Neal, taking that position when his teammate went off, but well done, you'll take it anywhere you can, I guess.
Yeah, I was sort of sat there minding my own business, watching it all happen in front of me, but again, over the moon for me and for VXR to get a second podium of the day, especially with full weight.
Tell me about that start, because it was very slow, and it looked for a moment like you were heading into the pit wall.
It is very difficult down there with the gradient of the grid here at Brands, which is tough to see on the TV, but it was a pretty shocking start, wasn't it?
How much were you compromised by the ballast that you were carrying in that race?
Just means you can't really push forwards. I mean, you say that, the balance of the car we'd adjusted from the first race, and it felt fantastic. But I didn't want to sort of get stuck into the back of Fabrizio, because that was going to stop him having a go at the BMs. So I was quite happy to sit tight and let him open the doors for me.
Well done anyway.
He's an Italian gentleman.
Cheers, well done.
I have to say the happiest man of all is the Motorbase team boss, Dave Bartram. From afar, you're just enjoying the podium views at the moment, and that's a very special moment for the team. The team had to start winning soon, but did you really expect it to come quite as soon as this?
I think so, yeah. I mean, Brands Hatch is our home circuit. We're 2 miles away from here. We finished in a high here last season. I really wanted to get a win early, and I can't wish for more, really. I'm over the moon with the team. I'm very proud of Rob, and I'm very proud of the team. And for Airways BMW, what a fantastic start to the season.
What kind of a driver have you got? What kind of a factor is Rob Collard going to be in the season to come?
Rob's going to be a big factor. He's been with us for the second season now, and he's settled into the team. I think he feels the team's his. We know him well. He knows us well. We work very well together. And with Johnny Adam coming in as well this year, I've got a really good pair of drivers. So I'm as pleased as anything.
Great battle with Colin Turkington. That's going to be a feature of the season as well, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, Rob drove an immaculate race there. He got himself back up there. He hounded, waited his time, and 2 laps before the end took the lead. That's the time to do it, because that's the time you want it. And I think that I couldn't have asked for more.
Can you quantify how much success ballast played a part in deciding that race?
Yeah, I mean, we were carrying 18 kilos, so Colin was carrying slightly more, but the BMW can handle the weight, so I would say that it played a factor, but then everyone was carrying something, so that's the way it goes. It's the luck of the draw. This time it was our luck, and we need it to continue.
Talking of the luck of the draw, we're now going to introduce another random feature in the championship structure. As you know, it's the draw for what is sort of the reverse grid. It's not quite a reverse grid, but what we do is pick out the 5 drivers who finished from 6 through 10. That's Gordon Shedden, Adam Jones, Dan Eves, Jonathan Adam and Jason Plato. And we draw one of those drivers who will now start from pole position for the 3rd race this afternoon, and the rest will fall into place behind them on the grid. And Dave, this is where we introduce really sophisticated technology into the British Touring Car Championship with this bowl of destiny. In there are the 5 numbers. Give them a good shake, dip your hand in there and draw out the man who's going to start on pole position for our 3rd race this afternoon. And the number you have drawn, you can show it to me. Oh, number 10. You've just picked Jason Plato to start on pole position.
Oh, well, welcome back, Jason.
It is great to have him back in the championship. He'll relish starting from pole, but what are your own thoughts about this third race to come?
I think it's going to be interesting. Jason's going to have his work cut out. He's in the Chevrolet, so it'll be interesting for him. He might have a few BMWs and a few Vauxhalls around him very, very shortly. So he's going to be a busy boy in this race.
Great to see Jason off pole position. Best wishes to you and the team for the third race as well. It's as close as we can get to a genuine reverse grid. And Ben Edwards can now take us through exactly how the field will line up for this final race this afternoon.
Thanks very much, Steve. Well, yes, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Jason Plato will start from pole position and Johnny Adam will be alongside him. So Dave Bartram should be pretty happy. His other cars right up there. Dan Eves and Adam Jones will start on the second row of the grid and 2 Cartridge World cars. And then it's Gordon Shedden and Andrew Jordan who drove so well from the back in race 2. Now they've got an even better chance because they're starting from row 3. Behind them will be Stephen Jelly and Matt Neal, who of course won that last race. He's got it all to do now. Well, finished third in that last race. Rob Collard, who won that last race, he comes from row 5 now. So top 10 reverse makes it even harder for him to come through. But let's see what he can do. Harry Volkard and Martin Bell will then be on the 6th row of the grid. That's as according to their finishing positions. Then Dave Pinkney and Tom Chilton, Alan Morrison and Fabrizio. He'll be starting back on row number 8, so 16th place for him. Nick Leeson and John George next up, they'll be on row number 9. And then Liam McMillan and Martin Johnson will start from the back.